Marijuana.
Proposition 64 would legalize marijuana in California for anyone over 21 years old. The initiative would hold marijuana to similar standards as tobacco and alcohol products to meet basic packaging, labeling, and advertising requirements to protect and inform consumers.
You said over 21?
Yes.
So nobody that Donald Trump's dating can still smoke weed legally. So Tom, what do you got for us?
What seems to be the biggest argument against legalization? The potential for a rise in driving under the influence related to marijuana, which I think is sort of a sticky icky argument. It doesn't really seem to hold water. When you're talking about accidents, people are tested after their accident, and because the component stays in your blood a lot longer, it would be akin to testing people after they've had a drunk driving related accident, saying maybe they have been under the influence of alcohol within the previous week. Does that make sense?
Interesting, because it stays in your system for so long.
I also think that it's a little disingenuous to put such a huge amount of weight on the DUI statistic, because, I mean, anybody in California who's convicted of driving under the influence has to have a ignition interlock device installed in their car. Very cheap, very reasonable technology. If everybody was really serious about reducing fatalities on the road and reducing driving under the influence accidents, I mean, we would just make those mandatory for everybody.
And they probably cost like 8 cents if they get built in originally.
It's absolutely nothing.
Yeah. The fiscal impact is expected to be about $1 billion annually. $200 million of that will be going towards police grants, and the rest funding after-school programs, drug prevention education, addiction treatment, and research on impaired driving. They're saying it's about $10 million annually saving from the decriminalization of marijuana.
Exactly. Prosecuting low-level marijuana offenders.
You know who else likes it is Sean Parker.
He likes it a lot.
Yeah. He likes it.
He has put his money where his mouth is.
Tom?
I have Mr. Sean Parker as a donor at almost just over $8.5 million of a total of $17 million that's on the Pro 64 campaign. I thought I had spent a lot of money on marijuana, but...
For the record, I don't smoke weed. I haven't smoked weed in damn near a decade. I don't think that this will do anything but help overall. A yes for you?
That's a big yes for me.
Big yes on 64.
Big yes. There is language in the proposition to start protecting appellations for marijuana.
When you say appellations?
Appellations like one would think of in wine, right? If you're drinking champagne, it has to come from the Champagne region
this is
of
a
France.
humble.
You might sit down for dinner and you order a nice 2016 Mendocino with your dessert, which would be a pile of Rice Krispie treats sprinkled with Cheez-Its.
California marijuana.
Is that an Orson Welles reference?
Yeah.
I love it.
I thought that was an old prospector.